It takes us a whole lot of research to get this huge home on wheels from point A to point B.
And in this video, we're going to share with you some of the tools that we use to make our trips a little bit less scary.
I'm Tammy, and this is my husband Scott. We are two artists who traded in our home and art studio for a home on wheels. Along with Gracie and Jasper, we've hit the road full-time in search of new landscapes and experiences, and we'd love to have you join us on our adventure. Till further notice, we're on a mission to explore, create, and inspire.
Goodbye, Oregon coast. For now, we'll be back. It's going to be an interesting day because we've scouted out this drive and there's bridges and tunnels that are going to be scary looking, but we're supposed to be able to make it, so we'll have to get that on video and get us holding our breath.
Are you ready for your first bridge crossing?
So now we just have a scary tunnel to go through, I think.
Yeah, one scary tunnel left on this road. I didn't expect that tunnel to be so narrow, did you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to meet somebody else big going through it, but it was okay. You wouldn't want two vehicles hugging the center line.
No.
Hello, Washington.
That was a little bit of a scary drive.
Yeah, it was. You know, a year ago, we had never driven a fifth wheel before. And not only did we go buy a big fifth wheel, but we bought the biggest one we could find. It's huge.
We biggie sized it. So that is why we need all the help we can get, and why we're going to share with you the tools that we have found to be the most helpful when we're routing and planning our trips.
Right after we bought the fifth wheel, the first thing we did is we ran out and bought a giant Ram McNally Atlas used for motor carriers.
Because we thought, well, if a semi can fit, then we can fit, and that would give us some reassurance.
One of the things I use the Atlas for the most is for every state it lists out any height restrictions,
Yep.
supposedly, and we're talking about on the truck routes, and it's part of the puzzle for sure, but it's not the answer to everything.
And we don't use it that much anymore, but we do glance at it after we've routed ourselves just to make sure that we're on the safe track.
Yeah, I mean, with the internet, the need to carry around a 7-pound Atlas in a rig that we're counting every pound maybe doesn't make a whole lot of sense to even have it with us. But
seriously, babe, this thing weighs a ton. Do we really need it? Because if we get rid of this, that means I can keep 5 pairs of shoes. We don't just have one item in our arsenal of tools for trip routing, but we use a few different things because we're paranoid. And we just want to be safe and double check. And we're still pretty new at this. Like, we're 60 feet long when we're driving.
and longer.
We're longer than 60 feet?
Yeah. We pulled off at the turnout to let all the people by, and then it took us so long to get going again that now we have a bunch more people back there. So would you drive something this big? 101 inches wide and 13 foot 6 inches high.
Oh. What are you doing up there?
Looks can be deceiving when you're out there on the road, and oftentimes things look a lot lower than they really are. And sometimes you
all
just,
the time they look a lot lower than they
you just can't
are.
imagine you're going to make it underneath that, but you do it.
Yeah.
So you can't just rely on visual observation. You need to plan these trips out and make sure you don't end up somewhere that you don't want to be. Before each departure, I'll spend a couple of nights reviewing Google Earth, and it's really helpful to see the route that we're going to be taking from space, and you just kind of walking your fingers down the route you're going to take, looking for tunnels and bridges. And
he literally flies down, does street view, and will go down the street to make sure that it's really what it's supposed to be. And when we're searching campsites, we'll also Google Earth them just to make sure it looks like we can fit. Didn't think we were gonna fit in this site, but we did it.
A lot of times if I don't find the answers I'm looking for, I'm gonna turn to the forums. Is it a good idea to drive a big rig from this point to that point? And it's amazing how much information you're gonna get on a question like that.
And RVers love helping other RVers. It's a great community. So go check out IRv2 Forum. If you can't find the answers you want, for sure someone in the RV community will have them for you.
Well, Tammy did drive like that 10 miles that one time. Other than that, it's been all me. And so coffee, Twizzlers, and the Garmin RV GPS helps me out a lot. That's all I need to safely move us on down the road.
That's not true. That's not true at all. He needs me and all the work I do behind the scenes as navigator. Carry on.
The things that I like about it the most, it's so easy to see what's going on, but it tells you which lane to be in and actually gives you a visual of the intersection, and it highlights the lane that you need to be in. Very helpful in planning ahead. In an RV, you want to know a half mile ahead of time if you're going to have to be switching lanes. All kinds of alarms that you can set up for lateral winds, curves in the road. It helps you anticipate what's coming up in the next 30 seconds. You can put in the specific size of your rig, and supposedly it's going to tell you whether you can do it, whether you can't. It did lead us astray a couple of times. One notable time was going through the redwood forest, and it took us on a road that we really shouldn't have been on.
The GPS took us through the beautiful redwood tunnel of trees that we barely fit through.
So if we're underway and we're towing, this baby will be turned on and I will be using it. And this isn't the only GPS that we have turned on while we're tooling down the road. Tammy always has the RV Trip Wizard GPS on her phone, corroborating and double checking everywhere that we go and everything that this says. And more times than not, we're going to go with what she comes up with than what this comes up with.
Which is why I asked you, do you know what road you're turning on? And you said, oh yeah, no problem. But what happened, babe?
You weren't paying attention as my navigator. All you got to do is get your little GPS on here.
Well, I did after you admitted that you didn't know where you were going. Our favorite trip planning tool is RV Trip Wizard. It's like the Swiss Army knife of tools. It can do everything, all in one place. I love it. It is my go-to RV planning happy place. So I'm not going to demo the whole thing for you, but I'm going to show you some of my favorite features and the things that sold me on RV Trip Wizard so that you will know about it too. We are not sponsored, we just love it that much. So check this out. So my 3 favorite features about RV Trip Wizard are: 1, it gives me peace of mind because I can customize my RV trip with the length of our rig, the size, the weight, whether we're carrying propane. I can put in gas stops, rest stops, everything. The miles I want to travel in a day. It's ingenious. And so it gives me a peace of mind knowing that this app and tool will route us according to the size of our rig. And they even have weather layers you can put over your map to see on your route if you're going to run into storms, fires, or wind problems, which is super important when you're RVing. So I do use this as a GPS on my phone when we're en route. The GPS we have in the truck is great for Scott, just to have that big visual screen to look at. But the GPS on RV Trip Wizard is our go-to for making sure and double checking our routes are good. You can even go into your settings and say that you want to avoid all tunnels, you want to avoid toll roads, ferries. There's just so much you can do with this app. The second thing I love about RV Trip Wizard is all of my trip planning is in one spot. I mean, telling you, this thing does everything. So from customizing my route to picking my campsites. And the way we route trips is we choose our destination and then I filter down from there. And in RV Trip Wizard, you can filter out your memberships. If you've got escapees, Good Sam's, you can prioritize those kind of campgrounds. Do you want BLM? Do you want KOA? Do you want private resorts? Do you want state parks? And for us, it's really important that you can check big rig friendly on campgrounds. Is it pet friendly, full hookups? The list goes on and on. And then right from there, you can click through to read reviews that people left, see pictures of the campground. You can even pop over to the campground's website from there, look at satellite maps of the campground. And then once you book the campground, you just simply add it to your trips. And then it will route you from point A to point B. And I really like how they have the tips tab in this section, so that other RVers can put in whether it's a hard to get into campground. I look at all of those things when making our decisions. The most fun feature of RV Trip Wizard is it's like you've got a running logbook of your trip. And because we're full-time RVers, we're gonna be able to see from the day we started till the day we finish this adventure, everywhere we've gone, the routes we've taken. We can put in how much it cost us, the campgrounds we stayed at, and you can add notes to say that if you really liked it, what site you were in, everything. And they even send you emails the day before you arrive at a campground telling you, looks like you're gonna be arriving, here's the weather you can expect, and there's some reviews of previous campers. They've really thought of everything. And they give you a 7-day free trial, so you can get in there, create a trip, play with all the settings and filters, and see how you like it. I think you're gonna like it. And it's super reasonable if you decide you wanna buy it. At the time of filming on this date, it's only like $49 for a whole year. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. And if it's something you're interested in, I will put a link in the description below our video. It is an affiliate link, so if you click on it, we get a little bit of a referral fee, puts a little fuel into our tank. But nonetheless, we just really want you to check this out because we love it.
If you have a favorite tool, let us know what it is.
We need all the help we can get. Comment below and let us know what we're missing out on.
Which could be a lot.
It could be a lot.
So we're newbies.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy watching our videos, throw a little love our way.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Doesn't cost a thing. It's totally free. It just lets us know that we're doing something right and we can keep making videos for you. Till further notice,
we're going to be here in Washington living the full-time RV life.
So stay tuned for our next adventure. See you next time.
Come on, babe.
Welcome back to civilization. I had to close the curtains because I kept making eye contact with the family next door. It's close quarters, and man, we just came out of rural country down in southern Utah, and now we're
Oregon.
I mean, anyway, and now we're in Centralia.